I'm interested in the night sky. I think that's one of the loveliest things, especially here in the Fens. I like simply looking out at the colours in the environment, all the natural colours. I grew up believing I was colourblind because it was obvious to my parents and my family that I couldn't identify various colours in the spectrum. When I went to school, I did realise I had a considerable inhibition about using colour. I just didn't use it. And once an art teacher at school said there was no point. He said, "There's no point you painting anything, Palmer. Your colours are all wrong." And that's, although it wasn't particularly important to me at the time, because I couldn't have ever imagined of becoming a painter, because as the music was more important.
I'm interested in natural history and folklore, so those are the interests that I'm collecting around and researching at the moment. How we collect things and how we notice things in the world around us.
I'm interested in materials, firstly, I suppose, and how you put different things together, along with sort of ideas that I continue to sort of work with. And I suppose one of those would be landscape. I'm interested in the idea of making landscape sculpture.
At the moment, I'm very interested in architecture and beliefs. I'm also interested in how beliefs have been historically represented in the arts through historical objects or even architectures. I was very impressed recently by a beautiful fresco in Arezzo by Piero della Francesca, and he has these beautiful paintings inside a church in Arezzo. And I was also taken by a very intrigued carved wooden crucifix. There's one at the National Gallery, and that's what inspired my work for the Arts Council commissioned recently, the Crooks series.
I'm interested in this relationship between the artist or the photographer looking, and then the kind of subject being looked at, and that sort of two-way relationship, and thinking about sort of setting up unnatural situations that are sort of recorded in different ways, and how the different technologies presenting different aspects of that situation and showing you that sort of something is being revealed by one that is not being revealed by the other. So using video and 3D technology at the same time, and playing with different sort of methods of display within the exhibition space.
I like being an artist because I can be interested in anything or everything, so you can change what you're looking into and researching quite often. At the moment I'm interested in economics, or trying to understand economics, and in helplessness, which lots of people feel when they try and understand economics, and hope and happiness, and how those things are connected.
I'm very much interested in the notion of developing work that perhaps on first inspection appears very simple, elemental, reduced from a fairly minimal palette, that given time and especially as the viewer moves around the sculpture, you get differing viewpoints or unexpected surprises, be they visual or otherwise, that occur as you move around the sculpture. So it's trying to take something that's fundamentally quite simple, where nothing is hidden, but at the same time have the ability to surprise through the materials and the form which they're transformed into.
I'm very interested in the role of the art object and what happens if you have a dematerialised practice. I wanted to kind of question, when you have an art object that you create, is that something that you're putting into the world to hide behind? Or what happens if you take that away? Are you then ended up with just you and just your voice as something to kind of use as the work, as the material? And that is the kind of scary bit. That's kind of where I'm at the minute, in this kind of like ledge of fear and wonderment of what happens if. It's always that question of what happens if. So what happens if you remove the drawing? What happens if you remove the cloth? What's behind it?